Hello, lovelies. This is 5 Minute Manifesting, and I'm your host, Lovey Brown. Thank you so much for listening today. I am so thrilled that you are here. So, I got a voice note on Anchor.fm. Thank you so much for the listener that left it. And I want to answer the question in it. I'm not going to play it because I'm not sure if the listener wanted to be anonymous or not. This is for listener A. And the question was that they have trouble visualizing very vividly, and that like all the sensory details like smell and taste and touch and sound don't really come through for this listener. And another thing is that when they hear speaking, it's only that person. They only hear their own voice. They don't hear other people's voices. And how can they have a more vivid visualization session? And that's a great question. And I have a couple of options. And actually, you can do all of these things. First, I want to say to you, do not worry and don't fret about it, okay? You can still get your manifestation even if you have trouble with those aspects of visualizing. The first suggestion I want to make to you is to use a different focusing method. Visualization and in your imagination is a great focusing method, but if it's one that you find more difficult than other ones, you can choose another one. I think maybe scripting. So in scripting is where you write down the scene. And so if you're having trouble just sort of living in your imagination with the scene, go ahead and get that scene on paper and write down the sensory details. Write down exactly what you want to experience. And then just read it over and over again. Or you can script it over and over again where you rewrite the scene every day. Another focusing option for you is to use affirmations. And affirmations are just sort of I am statements, or they can be different things. You don't have to use an I am statement. But I was reading some Neville today, and Neville says if you have trouble visualizing, so I looked it up. I looked up some Neville just because this was the question that I was going to answer today. And he says if you have trouble visualizing, he didn't use the word visualizing, but like going into the wish fulfilled in your imagination, to simply declare yourself as the state. Like, so just declare yourself, I am loved. I am in a relationship with my specific person. I am a millionaire. Whatever your state that you're trying to reach, if you have trouble visualizing that state, go ahead and he says, declare yourself to be in that state. And affirmations will work, especially if you say them over and over again, even if you don't believe them. Because you're wearing a new pathway in your brain and in your thinking. So those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you currently have, that's what's holding you back from your manifestation. If you change them, then your manifestation will come into your life. So that's my first suggestion, is to choose a different focusing technique, probably either scripting or affirmations or a combination of both. Now, my second suggestion is that you practice. And you practice with something that's not the big thing you're trying to manifest. And practice with something that you're very familiar with in 3D reality. Like, for example, an apple. So just sort of picture, and I don't know if you're familiar with apples, but an apple is a fruit. And you picture an apple in your mind. And it can be any color apple, but let's say it's a red apple. So now we have a red apple in our mind. Now imagine the red apple in your hand. So now you have a red apple in your hand. Imagine that. Now imagine bringing that red apple to your lips and feel the cool skin of the red apple against your lips. Now imagine opening your mouth wide and taking a big bite of that red apple and hear the crunch that the apple flesh makes in your mouth. And now imagine yourself chewing the apple and swallowing it. So see, that's just a way to practice visualizing. So if that was helpful to you, that sort of mini visualization that we just did with the apple, and then it was red, we saw the red apple, then we held the red apple in our hand, then we brought the red apple to our lips, and then we took a bite. If that's helpful for you, something you could do is just record yourself saying some phrases that help you with what you're trying to imagine. So if it's like with a specific person and you want to imagine holding their hand, imagine your specific person in front of you. Now imagine them reaching their hand out to you. And then imagine your hand reaching out to their hand that's been offered, and then clasping those hands together. So if you can imagine that when you hear the words, go ahead and record yourself a little scene that you can listen to help yourself get into that scene that you're trying to create in your imagination. So those are my tips for you to practice visualizing, and also use a different focusing technique if visualizing isn't for you, because it doesn't matter how you focus. The focus is the important part, and that's what's going to bring your imagination through your subconscious mind. So thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing day. May you manifest exactly what you want. Just a quick reminder, I do have some books on Amazon, and I have coaching available, and you can email me at lovybrownmanifest@gmail.com. Bye-bye.